Right.
The universe.
So,
Yeah.
the first thing I love about ontology is that it comes from ontos and logia.
It's actually Greek. He's writing Greek.
So it means discourse about everything that is. It means the study of things. The most highfalutin, the most over-the-top, pretentious discipline that exists, which is excellent. And this paper, which is a draft for the Applied Ontology Journal, was a framework for considering frameworks, which makes it meta-pretentious. It's great. So you've got models. So, we want a model for a machine learning solution. We want a model for building new products. We want a model for working out what the common pieces of information are in our way of working. And what I propose is that there are 3 dimensions on which you can consider a model. One is the reference dimension. What does this model actually represent? What are the things in it? If you've got symbols, what do they relate to? Is it like the real world, and that's what an ontology is? That's what a conceptual model could be. But it could also be like a system that you want to exist, or it could be a system that does exist. The things that you refer to may not be the real things. They may be database records. Remember, there is a difference between a thing and a database record. It's not, it's not your HR file that goes to jail when you break employment law. It's you. There is the application dimension. That is basically what are we building this thing for, and so that informs, who is trying to consume this model for what purpose, and so what choose to expose in it. And then there's the formalism, the dimension, which is basically the how do I choose to represent this thing? And different models are good for different situations. Like UML has a bunch of different formalisms for expressing object-oriented software architectures. You might not choose to build an ontology about the financial industry in UML. You perhaps could represent bits of it as a state diagram. It may not be the best choice. Now this bit is really interesting, this reference domain. There's an idea from a guy called Peirce in the very beginning of the 20th century called the semiotic triangle. And again, semiotics is one of those highfalutin words that's just about stuff. And what we have in the semiotic triangle is that there are signs. If I draw a kind of cartoon picture of a duck, then what does that duck represent? Well, there's a concept of duckness, and what we do in this paper is we actually divide this into 2 parts. So this thing is called intension with an S, so intension, and this thing is called extension. And the symbol of duck represents the category of ducks. Like I use the duck symbol to denote the fact that I'm talking about a duck, right? But what is a duck? Well, duckness is defined here. The extension is the example members of the set. So this is all ducks. This is the set, the membership function. So you have a function that, given a thing, either returns true or false, and true if the thing is a duck and false if the thing is not a duck. That's what the intention is. It is the definition of the set of ducks. The extension is all of the examples of ducks. And then down here you have like the thing, the object in the world that you are choosing to categorize as a duck. So when I use this symbol of a duck in a model, it might represent a particular duck in the real world. So I might have drawn a map of a pond with the ducks that were on it at the time that I drew the map. And so these 3 things are 3 distinct ducks. And the reason I think that paper is useful is it gives me a conceptual model for thinking about what is it that I'm trying to get out of this model. Like, why are we building this thing? Is it going to be useful for a machine learning application? I'm done.
kind of should be called the semiotic parallelogram.
Yeah, so he turned it into the semiotic rhombus by